الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع هداه. أما بعد, جزاكم الله خير everyone for coming and joining us this program. Alhamdulillah, and we are blessed to have, of course, Sheikh Mu'taz, who led Salat al-Maghrib. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Mu'taz. I would like to recognize the effort done by Brother Robert. Brother Robert, alhamdulillah, every time he makes sure to register and he prints out the ticket and brings it, and he is always on time. So Jazakallah khair, Brother Robert, for doing all this effort. It is an example for all of us to do the same, to be on time, to follow the process. So Jazakallah khair. I'm giving you, inshallah, a small gift card today for that, for this effort. Small gift card, inshallah. This is other than the draw that we're going to do later on. So this is just in recognition to the efforts of the brother. And anybody who paid money towards this event, also Jazakumullah khair. It was not a condition to attend, but for everyone who paid, I will tell you face to face, Jazakumullah khair. So if I was not able to do that, then this is an open Jazakallah khair for everyone who contributed. So we'll start, inshallah, with Sheikh Mustafa's presentation, and then we'll go from there. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Mustafa, for the presentation. Barakallahu fiqh. One of the interesting things that happened during this event that caught my attention, obviously, this is something to compare it with the Muslim community, right? Is that this event was rehearsed, right? So a few days ahead of this event, or a couple of days, because everything was short notice, everyone went there to rehearse this event. So thinking about how we do things in our Muslim communities, when was the last time we rehearsed anything? Like during Eid, we show up, the people show up, they plug in the microphone, it may or may not work, right? And people may or may not hear the sermon, right? This has been an issue for years and years and years, and it will continue to be an issue, right? When was the last time we did a rehearsal? Think about it, And the rehearsal made a big difference, right? It doesn't mean that everything will go according to plan or there won't be any issues, but it will make everyone feel comfortable. It will, for example, in terms of sound system, the TV and the videos and the cameras, they made sure everything is working according to plan, right? So for today, I just wanted to say a few things. Yesterday I was discussing the hadith with Sheikh Mustafa that we all know this hadith. We all have heard about this hadith. About the إذا قامت الساعة, if in the final hour comes, and a person has a fasila. A fasila is a sapling, a small tree, a baby tree. وبيد أحدكم فسيلة واستطاع أن لا يقوم حتى يغرسها فليغرسها. If he was able to plant that tree, then he should plant that tree. So when you read this hadith, you should think, why would he plant this tree? Why would a person plant this tree? It's the final hour. It won't matter. Why would he plant this tree? This shows that life has to go on, right? The show must go on. Whatever happens, you should continue doing what you are doing. You should continue doing the good that you are doing, regardless of the consequence. Sometimes we think, this tree I'm going to plant it, it's not going to grow up. This deed I'm going to do, it's not going to have results. So this should be a slogan, right, for all of us, is that we have to do good, continue doing good, regardless of what we think the consequences are going to be. And it keeps us going in life, right? The other thing we should think about is, how do we measure success? I have been asking this question to many people. As a Muslim community, how do we measure success? Sheikh Musa was telling me it's $1 million question, right? And it is true. If you know the answer to this, then you have solved maybe at least half of the problem. When we look at our, how we do things in the Muslim communities, you find, and I'm going to compare it with other communities as well, we find that we don't really have a leader, right? We don't have a leader. Usually the Imam of the Masjid is looked at as a leader, but then the Imam of the Masjid is not going to stay there forever because of the problems caused by people around them. And this is true for any masjid, any Islamic center. They don't survive. They don't let them do their work, right? If you look at the other faiths, you find that many of them, the rabbi that was standing in the middle, in that picture that you saw, actually knows Brother Yusuf from like the 90s, right? From the 90s. So he has been in that position since the 90s because they used to do programs together, right? Like da'wah programs. So this guy has been there for more than 30 years, right? Many other in Victoria I have spoken to personally, they have been in their positions for a long time. And that enables them to do their work, and it enables them to be an example to their congregation, right? This is a person that affects people around them and want to build a generation upon whatever belief they have. So they want to be there for a long time, right? When we look at what happens in our organizations, our Islamic centers and masajid, you find that their main concern, usually, the main concern is to have the Jumu'ah, right? We have to have Jumu'ah. And we scramble in most places, especially today, to find somebody to deliver the khutbah. They are begging people to deliver the khutbah, let alone the rehearsal, right? You're talking about rehearsal. Now we're talking about the real thing. They would call, in many places, this is not specific to any masjid, in many places they would call someone a couple hours before the khutbah, right? So much so that one brother told me that if my phone rings at 10 o'clock in the morning on the day of Jummah, I don't pick up because he knows what will happen. They will not give you notice, and you have to stand in front of people, and these people that you are standing in front of, they don't know that you didn't have notice to prepare this. It's clearly you haven't prepared for the khutbah, so you are the one who will be blamed, right? So the Jumu'ah, and when Ramadan comes, it's the Taraweeh, right? That's the main task. So we want to finish the whole Quran, and we need to bring people from outside and have, a big reciter, finish the whole thing, and we are so proud that we did that. That's the two main events that all the Islamic centers and masajid are proud of. And this is viewed as an achievement. This is viewed as success. This is what success is to have Jumu'ah, every Friday, and to have Taraweeh and Eid, And in many masajid, what they do when Ramadan comes, they want to bring somebody from outside, right? Which means that I always talk about this, of course, because I know it firsthand, that instead of producing our own reciters, we produce our own huffaz, we rely on bringing somebody from outside so that we look good in front of people, right? But we don't care about upbringing, the upbringing of a generation who are, excellent, who are better than maybe the ones that we are bringing from outside, right? And if anything, this is a sign of failure. Right? If I have an institution and I haven't managed to educate somebody to do this for like 10 or 20 years, then this is a sign of failure. If I continue bringing people from outside. And then one of the maybe greatest sign of success in some people's minds are the number of people who pray Jumu'ah, right? And we talked about this before. For example, a small place in Victoria, people used to pray at the university, at the chapel, like 20, 30 years ago, and now there are 4 or 5 different places that pray Jumu'ah, and that shows that the number increased, right? But does that mean that we were successful in doing something for the Muslim community? Not at all. This has nothing to do with success, right? This has nothing to do with success. The success in terms of numbers, I give you an example. When I was a teenager, we used to go to a bigger masjid that's not too far away from where we lived, because they had better programs, right? So if you are attracting people because you have better programs, better environment, a more welcoming environment in the masjid or the center, then those numbers will be important. But if it's just the fact that you have Jumu'ah and the number of Muslims keep increasing, then this is nothing that you have done to increase the numbers. So obviously we always talk about the issues, and we haven't still, for the most part, we haven't started talking about what the solutions are. So today I'm just going to talk about just one single point, and I will inshallah soon conclude with this. One of the most crucial things, and I'm sure you have seen in our programs that we do this all the time, is that we constantly fail to recognize the efforts of people who have contributed to the Muslim communities in different places, right? We fail to do it, and I tell you the reason why is that sometimes people who have the spotlight, they don't want to shine the spotlight on another person, right? They want that spotlight to keep shining on them, right? And this is out of sometimes jealousy, right? Which is obviously a disease, or envy, right? But I think it is something that we lack in all our communities. And today, I will mention just a couple of names. The first one would be Brother Yusuf, of course, and Sheikh Ismail, who have sacrificed their whole, stay in this city to serve the community, and they haven't been recognized enough. So today, I will, inshallah, and I'm sure you will agree with me if I say that Sheikh Mu'taz is another example of the people who have contributed so much to this community and others. And his efforts went unnoticed. So much so that I will give you an example of this type of maybe funny things that we do in Muslim communities. The first time he came to Victoria, he was invited to lead Salat al-Tarawih, right? That was many years ago. And he lived in a different province, so he was invited to pray, and he prayed Salat al-Tarawih. And then things happened, and he ended up living in the city. So when he lived in the city, the community, they let him get invited by other masajids in other cities, right? So instead of using the person who is now with you, you let him go to other places, right? So the talent that we have here, and this is just an example, the talent that we have here, we don't want the spotlight to shine on them. This is the issue that we have. So for the many years that he lived here, he, as far as I remember, he only led Taraweeh once, right? Or twice, once? It was once. So he only led the Taraweeh once, and that was when he was invited to come here from a different province. And all the years that he was living here, he never led Salatul Taraweeh. Sheikh Mu'taz is, I always say, and it is written here, he is a world-class reciter that we haven't really benefited, or we didn't take advantage of what he has. And now, of course, as many of you know, he's leaving the city. So I don't know, like I said for Sheikh Ismail, I don't know if this is a sad occasion or a happy occasion, but we do have a cake. This is the least we could do. And we have a certificate, if you could come, Sheikh Mu'taz, we have a certificate of appreciation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan for this event, and I feel like so emotional to leave such a great community. Subhanallah, no word can express like my feeling right now, because I got so attached to the people, like great people in this community, and I don't want to mention anybody because like all of you like contributed contributed and helped in different ways, like me and my family in different situations, and alhamdulillah finally I make it happen, like me and my family, and now we are moving from the province, and make dua for me and my family. جزاكم الله خيرا. بارك الله فيك.
جزاك الله خير سيدي، جزاك الله خير. تفضل خذ جزاك الله خير.